Hello there! Jeffree Star has finally responded to the James Charles Tati Westbrook drama, so we're bringing you a special, quick edition of YouTuber News, which we're calling YouTuber News Quick Bite. Quick Bite? Yes, hello and welcome to YouTuber News Quick Bite. My name is Benedict Townsend. This is not our main episode of YouTuber News, that's still coming on Friday this week. We'll have even more stories, but we thought we'd experiment with a little quick Monday show just to keep you up to date with anything that might have happened at the weekend. And this weekend there was a huge news story, Jeffree Star responding, so we're going to give you the quick lowdown on that. And let us know what you think about Quick Bite. Is this something you'd want more of? Tweet us at PopBuzz or tweet me at Benedict Town, that's my Instagram, and let us know if this is something you'd like to see more of. But enough of that, let's press on with our one and only story for the day, and that is that Jeffree Star has uploaded a new video on Sunday called Doing What's Right, where he finally addressed Tati Westbrook's latest video and the criticism he received during the Black Lives Matter protests in June. And I'm not doing the Tati Westbrook thing anymore because that's over. Okay, let's all move on. It's been over 2 weeks since Tati claimed she was manipulated by Jeffree and Shane Dawson to upload her now infamous James Charles takedown video by Sister last year. In his response, Jeffree explains that he's been taking time to reflect on his behavior since Tati's newest video and that he didn't want to respond on impulse. Instead, Jeffree says he's done with drama, but refutes Tati's claim that he hatched a plan to take down James Charles with Shane Dawson, which was quite the allegation. He said, quote, "I didn't try to take anyone down. I'm not a villain in a movie." He then indirectly addresses Tati, saying, quote, "We all have to take accountability for our own actions and no one else's." I mean, Tati herself has been criticized for trying to shift the blame for uploading her video in 2019 onto them. A year later, she's sort of saying, "They made me upload that video." He then proceeds to admit that he has made some mistakes, and perhaps most significantly, he says, quote, "He fell for a lot of things and got caught up in the hype," which could be interpreted as an admission that the audio recording of an alleged victim of James Charles, which Jeffree apparently played to Tati, and that he discussed with Keemstar, was indeed fake, or that he no longer believes it to be true. Maybe he believed it at the time. He then makes a direct apology to James Charles, saying, quote, "If I was really close with someone, I should have had the ability to simply call them and ask and say, hey, these are things that are being said to me." Jeffree then moves on to defend his, quote, "best friend Shane Dawson," saying he only knows the person he is now, not the Shane from a few years back, and who did a seemingly endless list of very problematic things. Jeffree was unapologetic in his support for Shane, expressing surprise that people thought they were no longer friends since Shane's big cancellation, quote unquote, last month. Although I do like him saying, I'm good friends with who he is now, and I didn't know him during that past stuff, we weren't friends then. So it's like defending him, but also saying like, yeah, but I wasn't on board with any of that previous stuff. Now, the video has had 7.3 million views so far at the time of recording, and the comments have been turned off. Funny that. So it seems like not everyone is happy with Jeffree's apology. I mean, it seems pretty likely that Jeffree knew that there would be a backlash to his video. Turning the comments off is gonna do that. But one part of the video that is really getting a lot of heat is to do with Black Lives Matter. After he apologizes to James in the video, Jeffree then very awkwardly goes on to invoke the BLM movement and victims of police brutality, including Breonna Taylor and Elijah McClain, and the epidemic of violence against black trans women, to make the point that there are more important things going on in the world than makeup drama. And while it goes without saying that police brutality and racism are, yes, very much more important topics than this, some viewers felt that Jeffree was using these causes to sort of escape accountability for his own actions. He was going like, hey look, this stuff's much worse, so is my stuff bad? Who's to know? One Twitter user wrote, quote, "Sorry, but Jeffree Star bringing up Black Lives Matter to yet again escape accountability is so disgusting. Black Lives Matter is not a prop for you to use in order to clear your record. It's an incredibly important movement and message, and Jeffree is twisting it to his benefit." Others felt that Jeffree's concern was disingenuous, believing him to have done, quote, "the bare minimum" when it comes to supporting Black Lives Matter since the protests erupted after the murder of George Floyd. Another Twitter user wrote, quote, "I find it so sick that randomly in the middle of the video, Jeffree addresses Black Lives Matter, but then never again. I also don't see resources in the description for Black Lives Matter. It's all manipulation, ladies and gentlemen. It's a trend to say their names to gain someone respect." Now, there's still a lot of unanswered questions in all of this. Jeffree mentioned that there are things now being handled by his lawyers, but it doesn't look like Jeffree is letting the criticism get to him, as he's now back to posting on his social feeds and seemingly just moving on with his life, including a birthday shout out to Shane Dawson on his Instagram stories. Bad time for Shane Dawson to have a birthday. And there's still a lot of questions that are yet to be answered in all this drama. Jeffree mentioned that things are now being handled by his lawyers, which follows what Tati Westbrook said in her own video 2 weeks ago. She mentioned she had some lawyers involved. She claimed that she had provided receipts to her lawyers. I'm sure there's a more legally correct term than receipts. Evidence, perhaps. But if Jeffree's got his team involved as well, could we be seeing legal action in the future? We'll have to wait and see. Not exactly sure what they'll all be suing each other over, but I'm sure it'll be messy. And the other big details that are missing is that Jeffree didn't mention his other allegation from last year against James, which was that his former boyfriend Nathan had, quote, banned James from their house. Now, Nathan has yet to get involved with any of this drama, but Jeffree does mention that he's been going through a lot in his personal life. Does this mean that something is going on behind the scenes with Nathan? We don't know. And that concludes our Quick Bite episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let us know what you think, because we're happy to do more of these. There's always time for more quick bites. And if you've really enjoyed the episode, you can subscribe by swiping up on the last snap of this story to subscribe on Snapchat, or on YouTube by hitting subscribe. I'll see you on this week's main episode of YouTuber News, but until then, stay biting.